You're watching Food Love with Anna. Hello, food lovers. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Today I'm making corned beef and cabbage, and I'm making the corned beef from scratch, so keep watching. So I'm going to start off with some seasoning for my corned beef, and I'm starting with some whole mustard seeds, some allspice berries, some coriander seeds, and some whole peppercorns, and some whole cloves. Now I'm putting this in a pan over medium heat. I'm just going to warm these up until they become fragrant. Then I'm going to put them into my mortar. I'm going to take my pestle and I'm going to just go to town, kind of grounding these up. Now I don't want them to be ground too finely. So about like this is great. So I also have some dried bay leaves that I'm breaking up, along with a cinnamon stick that I've cracked up and broke up, and some ground ginger and a little dried thyme. And in a pot, I'm going to heat up about a quart of water, and to that I'm going to add some coarse sea salt and some turbinado sugar. I'm also going to add 4 whole cloves of garlic that I've kind of cracked open. And then I'm going to add those spices that we toasted, along with the cinnamon stick and the bay leaf and the ground ginger, all of that good stuff. I'm just going to take my whisk and mix it up. I'm going to let this simmer until the salt and sugar have dissolved nicely. And then I'm going to transfer it to a large measuring cup. I'm going to let this cool completely at room temperature, and then I'm going to let it chill in the refrigerator for about 2 hours. Now, once it's completely chilled, I'm going to put it into this glass pitcher. Now, I'm going to add some beet juice to this brine. And I'm only adding beet juice because this will be an alternative to potassium nitrate, which is what makes a store-bought corned beef brisket pink. So you can take a store-bought brisket and you can cook it all day long, it's still going to be pink. If you don't want the potassium nitrate like I didn't want it, then this is another option for you. Now, of course, my corned beef is not going to take on that pink color because I didn't brine it long enough. You'll need to brine it for at least 5 days before it takes that pink color. I only brined mine for 24 hours, but just for the purposes of this tutorial, I just wanted to show you that you do have an alternative. So I'm taking some coarse ground Dijon mustard and I'm mixing it with some turbinado sugar, and this is just going to be a little glaze for our corned beef. Now I took my corned beef out of the brine. I rinsed it off completely, making sure that I rinsed off the seasonings and the spices that might have stuck to it during the brining process. And with the fat side up, I dried the brisket off with a paper towel. Now this is about a 3-pound beef brisket, so decent size, not too big. I did spread that glaze all over the top and the sides, and I put this into a roasting pan and put it into a 350-degree oven for about 2.5 hours. So now it's time to make our cabbage. So I've got about 3 large carrots that I've cut in half, and then I've halved the halves. And I have this nice green cabbage that I'm also cutting in half right down the middle. I'm just going to remove that core or that root, and then I'm going to cut this into thick wedges. Now there was some nice outer leaves, green outer leaves. Here they are. I did not discard those. I'm going to cook those up as well. I also have some red boiling potatoes. They're pretty small, but they're not teensy tiny. So I'm just going to cut these in half. And then in a pot, I'm going to add some butter, and I'm going to melt that butter. And then to the melted butter, I'm going to add some low sodium chicken broth. Then I'll add a little salt to this and a little pepper. And I've also collected some of the drippings from the corned beef as it started to cook. And 1 bay leaf. Just give that a little stir, and I'll let that come to a boil like this. And now I'm going to start adding this cabbage. So I've added the tougher outer leaves first, and then I've lined the pot with the cabbage wedges. And then I put the potatoes on top of the cabbage and the carrots on top of the potatoes. I put a lid on that and let it go for 25 to 30 minutes. And here's our brisket here. That's all nice and done, nice and caramelized on top. It's time to plate this up. This was so good. And it was really pretty easy to make. I mean, I guess the longest that I had to wait was for the brisket to roast, but other than that, everything was pretty quick. Guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and also follow me on Facebook at Anna's Food Love. Until next time, I'm wishing you joy and lots of food love.